Please. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Emma Saroyan, and today I'm going to speak about property-based testing the Python way. So my talk is focused on Hypothesis, the Python library for property-based testing, and we're going to approach a simple and practical example in data analytics from two different testing perspectives. So the problem is validating a data cleaning function in a data pipeline. This is a problem that you can come across in real-world workflows when raw data is messy, incomplete, or inconsistent. Cleaning functions are critical before analysis or modeling, and pipelines are automated and need robustness guarantees. So the function clean name is the following. What it does is it strips white space, it lowercases the name, and removes special characters. It's called clean name, and this is the function that we're going to test. So now you know the example. Now we want to write a test for this function. We want to make sure that the function clean name never crashes with any input. It only returns alphanumeric characters and spaces. Also, it removes the leading and the trailing spaces, and it returns a string. So everybody now knows, yes, the example. If you're going to write a test just using PyTest for this function, then this is how it's going to look like. You would do like this, yes? You need to think of specific names and also specific test cases. For example, we take the name Alice, and it should look like this. And then another test case is Bob, and it should look like this. And then, for example, we want to remove the S key, and we write, and then we assert that it should be removed. So what is actually the problem with this is that as an engineer or a test writer, you need to think of all these examples, right? And this code can get very long. And also, what if you forgot one of the important cases and you just didn't include it in your code? So actually this can create some problems because your code might not be able to handle that, and this is really bad, can be very bad for your code. So what is the solution for this, and how does Hypothesis help? Hypothesis is the property-based Python library, and what it does, it basically, instead of specifying the test cases manually, it does the job for you automatically. For example, here you have it at given that you just say that you want strings, and then you also want to verify this for this function for the properties of the string, so that after running the function, you're testing it so that the string has the properties that you expected, that you wanted, and that the output looks like you expected. In this case, we want alphanumerical, so in the assert all, we specify everything at once for all the strings. And at given, we have Hypothesis is going to generate a range of strings. And we also don't want spaces, yes, and everything is already included in all. So this is helpful because this can actually, you can see how much simpler the code is now compared to PyTest. Also, this reduces time, and you can become more efficient and don't do the manual thinking about all the strategies. So it's actually helping us right now. So we're not thinking of all the test cases. And the good thing about hypothesis is that it actually deliberately picks the known edge cases. So it will test this for very large strings, also for very long strings, also very short strings, strings with spaces, strings that don't have spaces. And it will randomly pick a lot of test cases and include all that and test your function. So after running this, the function, you will have it all done with the help of hypothesis. So the thing about hypothesis is that it complements your PyTest and tests written in PyTest. And they work together this way. PyTest basically handles explicit expectations and regression tests, because in PyTest you explicitly give the input and the output, and in hypothesis tests you write tests just using properties and describing what properties you want the string to have. And hypothesis handles automatically and exploratory testing across thousands of inputs, including edge cases like empty strings, strings with unexpected characters, very long strings. If you run it all together with PyTest and hypothesis like this, because both are Python libraries, so you should have them installed with pip install, and then you run PyTest, and it all runs together. Just using PyTest, you can run it all together. So actually, why hypothesis? Hypothesis, because you have seen the example, you now know that its benefits, but it's not the best choice for all the use cases. Testing with complex and diverse input ranges, hypothesis is very good for that because it generates a wide range of inputs. It usually works with integers, with lists of integers, with strings. So if you're dealing with mathematical functions, for example, mathematical computations, hypothesis can be very helpful there. If you're dealing with data parsers or file processing, hypothesis is great. It's basically great when you know that a property should always hold true. But there are cases that hypotheses are not the best choice for, and you should go with PyTest. And those are the limitations and the cases where it's hard to define correct properties, because defining properties is also hard, and there are cases where it's very hard to define correct properties, so maybe you should avoid using hypothesis in that case. It's not great for output-heavy or non-deterministic code, because usually output, it takes a lot of time to get that output, yes. And hypothesis, because it is random data, it has randomness, it's not the best. It can slow things down and make it harder to debug. And also, when a test fails, the output is often a minimal failing case. This is how hypothesis works. It actually catches the failing cases and it keeps them. But why it happened, it can take a lot of time to understand that. So in these cases, it's maybe better to avoid hypothesis, in my opinion. So I would recommend you check out the documentation. It's really great. And I hope you start writing tests with hypothesis and complement your PyTest with hypothesis to probe edge cases, to discover bugs, and to create test cases that you might otherwise miss. Feel free to reach me on LinkedIn and contact me also via email. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Has anyone ever? Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering, can you give more examples of strategies on just the one you showed with text?
Yeah, also with numbers, as I said, with integers. Maybe check the documentation because it has a lot of examples. I think with numbers, especially with numbers, it's more common. yes, it has actually a lot of strategies. Everything is in the documentation. If you just
What types there are? I don't know hypotheses. I was wondering, like, can you work with dates?
yes. Sorry?
I already use hypotheses for like 2 years in a project, and the main rules are based on JSON schemas. You already know about some projects that use that, and if that yes, and if you know I think it's an advantage to use hypothesis in this case because it's very complex. And a lot of things that I have to see is a behavior like always the same output. Like if there is some cache between a hidden cache. And I'd like to know if you already see some project using that type of strategy.
With JSON, you mean? Schema, yes.
It's something like to define data to generate
Yeah, I know.
JSON through JSON schema. So I need to make the JSON schema, then input that in a strategy to use with PyTest.
Yeah, I have never seen such an example.
It's a very complex example,
Yeah,
but I face some behavior in the hypothesis itself, and it seems that also have some kind of cache of output that are almost always the same. So if you want, you use hypothesis to generate a lot of different examples, then I face that in a different way. Like I have always the same example.
we can talk about that after.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. I haven't used the hypothesis before. Do we have a way to get rid of randomicity by specifying a seed?
Oh, I don't know. But maybe yes.
And the second question: if hypothesis catches a cases that fails, is there a straight way to attach the debugger to that case and try to debug it?
Again, I don't know a specific exactly like how, but there should be. Yeah, we can explore that. We can discuss maybe after. I don't know.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
So I tried it a bit, and what I've seen is that if it fails, it will output the input needed for to fail. So if it's in the CI/CD or something, you can check the logs, and it will say, "Oh, this fails for 5." If the input is 5, then you can configure your test to force it to test with that input, like a configuration file or hard-coded. So you can repeat with the same input, and then I guess you would just debug locally or something. I just used it a bit, so just a couple of thoughts. I also have a question, so I'll use this time. To me, this seems like really interesting, but I think more of it like maths libraries and such. I have a hard time thinking about maybe more regular apps, so to speak, like an API or a data pipeline. Do you have any comment of that, if that's kind of difficult to use or if there's some use cases for it?
You can use a hypothesis also with, I think it can, I'm currently like exploring how also it can be helpful with AI, for AI apps. I don't know how helpful it is, but of course you can use with APIs and other stuff. So it's just a test, it's just you write the test with it. So it's a library, you can combine it with other stuff. And I think it can be very helpful, depends on the use case more. And I think those actually these are the use cases that it's the most helpful. But you can use with APIs or other things, or testing apps, APIs. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. I wanted to expand a little bit on that last question. Like, more than on the technical side, if I can use it technically, is how do I think about the test of an API? Because I guess like the mental model that I need to have for developing a test with hypothesis is different. So what are the things like I need to have in mind for thinking about property-based testing in an API or a data pipeline or something like that?
Yes, in property-based testing, you think in terms of properties. So basically, you should make sure that they hold true after running the test. So for the APIs, I think you should again think of maybe some main like what things you want in the output to hold true, and then put them as write them as properties. So I think it depends on probably the functionality if you're.
Thanks.
All right, folk. That's it for questions now. So let's give one more round of applause to Emma.
Thank you.